All right, hi, awesome people. Good morning. Um, Compartmentalization versus integration. Huge topic. Awesome way to look at it, I think. Because I think that the degree that you compartmentalize, like yourself, your stuff, I think correlates totally with, how at ease you are, how yourself you can be, how much you perform, how fake you are, how safe you feel, even how much you lie, how honest you are, like all this stuff. Um, it's just a great way to look at it, I think, because it seems that us humans, we in order to make it, especially early on, we just bad things happen, and we can't deal with them. They're too scary or whatever, too painful. And so we just cut those things off from our experience, from us. Defense mechanism, I guess. Denial. But the truth is, I think we all kind of know it, is that it is part of us. It happened. This happens a lot with parents, obviously. We want to think, oh, I'm nothing like my parent, which is a joke. I mean, you are like your parent in one way or another, more likely in lots of ways. And that's just a fact. Okay, they raised you. Genetically, you come from them for the most part. If this is your genetic parent, it's just a fact. Okay, so if I go around and pretend that I'm nothing like my mom, because there's lots of things that the way that she sees the world that I don't agree with. If I run around really believing that I'm nothing like her, then it just follows that I have to ignore a bunch of stuff that I'm doing, including ways that I process information, like ways I interact with loved ones, ways that I see the world. Because, unfortunately, you could say, I do see the world like my mom does a lot of the time. That's my go-to. That's how I was raised, man. That's what I heard for many years. So it's just how it is. These days, I consciously try to call it out, to say it, to admit it, to just be honest about it. Okay, when I'm being an entitled a-hole, or I just think that my opinion is worth more than my wife's, I try to say it now. I try to make a joke about it because it is funny. It's ridiculous. And this joking, this saying, is a way to integrate it, essentially, and not to deny it, not to pretend. It's crazy because it isn't insanely hard because we're so good at fooling ourselves and truly believing this stuff. I am nothing like my parent. we we run around thinking this. A lot of us. Okay, if you don't do that, that's awesome. That is really awesome. Maybe you had a nice relationship with your parents. Maybe they treated you well, like a human being, even when you were young, and not just their little add-on. That's awesome. And maybe you don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. because you were always just raised basically without the need to break off big sections of like your past or of yourself in order to like survive, to keep your other self intact. Um, so like, this happens with historical things. Some of us can't remember swaths of our like childhood. Just can't remember it. It's like it's not there. It feels something maybe, but it's like we can't remember the specifics. Um, just an example. So my childhood had addiction in it, family addiction, and this is the kind of thing that just like forces you almost to compartmentalize. It teaches you how, and it makes you do it because there are things that you seemingly can't talk about with anyone. It's a secret. At least that's how it was in my family. It's a secret. So when I leave the house, it's like I'm a different person almost than when I'm at home, and things are a certain way. And then you leave the house and you pretend basically that things are not that way in your home, in your house. And that's a huge split of realities, and it's terrible. I think it's very damaging, and that this is how your brain learns to work this way, and it hurts for the rest of your life. And you find yourself still doing it when you're in your freaking 40s, and your home life is actually pretty okay. You still sort of think that you need to do that. You're like, can I say can I reveal myself? Is it okay? Like, can I talk about this stuff? Brutal. But seriously, so brutal. It is scary. The power of this and what it leads to. The like fear, the self hatred, you could call it even. Like, you're not okay with yourself if you can't talk about your life, your where you come from, what happened, how you grew up. Like, there's these dark areas that you can't really speak of, and it's just like, oh my god. And there's all these regrets you have, or all this shame and all this guilt and all this, like, you gotta like pretend that's not there. It really like makes it's such a sad state of things that's what we do to our kids. And now that I am a dad, I also actively try to not put my kids through that, because like it's how we mess up our next generation. In any case, compartmentalizing, we do it in so many different ways. We can become like completely different people depending on the environment we're in. We can ignore like one activity we do in life that we don't like or we're ashamed of or whatever, or something that we did in the past, and just like put a wall between that and the rest of our life. We can act horribly one moment and then the next just be like, sure, nope, that didn't happen. Now I'm a good person. That's kind of what we have to do if we can't face the stuff that is hard to face. I could go on forever about this. I think it's an epic topic, and I'm sure I'll talk about it again at some point. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Wishing you a great week. Take it easy, babe.